I've got a good show for you today. That's right. Hey, check it out. Let's see. Jeff Bezos. That's right. Jeff Bezos is going to pop in here a little bit later today. Obviously, we're going to talk about tacos because that's really, 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 really important. We're going to go down an interesting path with my buddy Patrick Abad, who's just an incredible dealer out of Georgia. We're going to head down that path. But mostly, this entire episode, from Bezos popping in to tacos to my guy Patrick Abad, this entire episode is about no one other than you. You are actually the star of today's episode. So congratulations. Let's dive in. It's going to be a good one. Good morning and welcome to #Rise and Grind, the #1 morning show in the world filled with motivation, education, and inspiration. I am your host, Glenn Lundy, husband to 1, father to 8, and the founder of the 800% Club, the club designed to help you unlock your full potential. Each episode is filled with celebrity interviews, inspiring conversations, and the strategies you need to get ahead in your career and your life. So grab your pen and turn up the volume because it's time to rise and grind. Grab your pen and vote for Glenn. That was my campaign when I ran for student body president back in middle school. Grab your pen and vote for Glenn. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Oh my goodness. I see a celebrity in the house, Heather Parody. Good morning. I'm so glad you're here with us today. It's great to see you. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, today is Tuesday. That's right. Today is Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most, and I do mean the absolute most, of this absolutely incredible day. Listen, today is also Taco Tuesday. That's right. Today is Taco Tuesday. And in my house, I don't know about you, but in my house, this is like our favorite day of the week because Taco Tuesday is the day that we go over to Grandma and Grandpa's house, and Grandpa makes us some delicious tacos. Now, usually what happens is we bring all the kids. My mom chases the kids all over the place, and me and my wife just sit on the couch watching Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune and vegging out. That's typically what happened. Tonight will be a little bit different. Grandma is out of town, and Grandpa is still cleaning up the mess in the backyard. That's right. Look at this big old massive tree that got blown over in the storm last week. I mean, the storm was crazy, right? And this big old massive tree blew over and landed directly on the shed that my parents keep all the stuff that you would put in a shed, right? All of that stuff. So it's hard to see in this picture, but there's actually a shed buried underneath all of that, man. It was crazy, right? I don't know. I'm assuming many of you experienced that storm last week because it started over in California, actually, and it made its way all the way across the country, kind of moving north as it went up. So if you were down south, you really didn't get affected as much, but more middle of the country, and as you worked your way up, it was crazy, right? It was crazy. I was actually in Georgia during the storm. Well, actually, let me back up let me back up a little bit. Let me tell you a story. So I needed to be in Georgia on Friday, right? I needed to be in Georgia on Friday. And so the plan was to take the jet. We were going to leave Friday morning, take the jet. We were going to drop off Evan and Hoel, which are two of my sales guys. We were going to drop them off in South Carolina so they could visit a dealership there, and then fly over to Georgia where I could spend time with Patrick Abad and his organization of Beaver Toyota, but I needed to be there by 8:30 a.m. for the Friday morning sales meeting, right? I always lead the sales meeting when I'm there. So I needed to be there at 8:30. So everything's worked out. Boom. Then Stephanie Toadvine, who's here right now, messages my wife, and she's like, hey, ask Glenn, I'm supposed to fly Friday. Should I maybe come out a day early or leave a day early because of this storm that's coming in? And so I look at it. I'm like, I haven't heard anything from my pilot. She's probably going to be okay. Fast forward, Thursday evening, right? Thursday afternoon, my pilot calls. Pilot calls and says, yo, bro, check it out. Storm's coming in. Ain't going to happen. We need to wait till the storm kind of passes by. We can't leave until after 12 o'clock tomorrow. And I'm like, that doesn't work. I need to be there at 8:30 a.m. I get to lead the sales meeting at 8:30 a.m. There's a lot of people. It's a big organization. There's a lot of people that are there. So I need to be there. He's like, not happening. Cannot fly because of the storm. I'm like, okay, great. So I call Patrick. I'm like, hey, Patrick. And Patrick is, Patrick invests a lot in 800% Club in me. And I never want to let people down, especially when they're investing, their hard-earned dollars. And so I'm like making that call. You guys know the call, right? The call we don't want to make. So I'm calling and I'm like, yo, bro, the plan is to be there at 8:30 tomorrow morning, but because of this storm that he's saying I can't get there. He's saying I can't get there till like I have to leave at noon. I can't get there till like 1 p.m. And Patrick's like, bro, I've already got everybody set up to be here tomorrow morning. And again, he's got a big organization, right? It's a bunch of people. He's like, I've got everybody set up to be here. I'm like, yeah, man, I understand, I can't, and of course I'm immediately going to like, I can't control the weather. You got to understand that I can't control the weather. But he kind of gave me he basically had this sense like, look, bro, figure it out. That's kind of how he came across. Look, bro, figure it out. And so I'm like, okay, all right, hold up, Patrick. I know what I can do. If I leave like in the next couple hours, this is Thursday night, right? If I leave in the next couple hours, I can drive 7 hours to Georgia, to Cumming, Georgia. Maybe I'll stay in a hotel at some point, 3 hours in, 4 hours in, stay in a hotel, get up early, drive in the morning, right? Do the show. And be there at 8:30. And then I'm like, and then the plane can come later. So I'll rent a car, drive 7 hours, be there in the morning, drive 7 hours, stay in a hotel, be there in the morning. And then the plane can come later during the day and that'll get me home. And so I'll drop the rental car off over at the other place. That way I only have to drive one way. I don't have to drive two ways. And that sounds like a solution, right? And so I'm like, that's a perfect solution. And as I throw this solution out, Patrick says this to me. Patrick says, hey, Glenn, you own a jet. Why would you rent a car when you own the jet? Just call your pilot. If you're going to drive tonight, why don't you just fly tonight? And I was like, oh. Oh, yeah. So I get on, I'll call you back. So I call the pilot. Hey, can we fly tonight? He's like, of course you can fly tonight. You own the jet. I'm like, oh. Now listen, I share this with you guys for a reason. Listen, I owned a jet, but I had a rental car mindset. I own a jet, but I had a rental car mindset. And see, it's fitting because Patrick's quote is actually in the planner this morning, right? Patrick Abad is actually at the top Morning 5 planner today. His quote says, black, white, and silver under $30,000, which really doesn't make sense unless you're in the 800% club. which I love because it's sneaky. But it's fitting because, listen, I had the solution to the problem. Like, as a matter of fact, not only did I have the solution to the problem, there actually wasn't even a problem. Like, there wasn't even a problem. When you can wrap your arms around that, wrap your mind around that, now you're starting to understand what I'm talking about. Look, there wasn't even a problem. I created the problem. I did. As soon as the pilot said, yo, we can't fly tomorrow, all I had to do was say, okay, great, let's fly today. There was never a problem. I never had to call Patrick. I never had to worry him with that. I never had to burden him with that. I never had to spend any time or energy thinking about rental cars and 7 hours and trips and how we're going to get this back and that back and really creating a situation where this guy that believes in me, that invests in me, like maybe even starts to question me just a little bit when I'm going, hey, I can't follow through on my obligation, right? Like, I created all of that. There was never a problem, ever. But my rental car mindset created one. And see, the same is true for you. You might not own a jet, totally get that. But listen, you are the solution. You are the solution. The solution is always you. We create problems out of things that are not problems. And this week we've been talking about winning. And I know there's people in this room that are like, I want to win. And I'm here to tell you, winning at every single level starts with you. You are the solution. Fair enough? All right, let's do some dancing. Come on. Good way to start. Good way to start today. 100 grand. We're doing Connor. We might do Connor all week. I'm just saying, we might do Connor all week because this is my guy. For those of you that know and those of you that don't know, this is the part of the show where I need you to hit the share button. Does that sound fair? I need you to hit that share button because I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact on this planet. I truly believe it. And sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you to hit that share button. This is also the part of the show where I want to say good morning to you. I want you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, say what's up. I'll say what's up back. How you doing, Angela Heath? I'm glad you're here. Melvin Rodriguez, thanks for being in the building. Jacqueline Underwood and Dora Maria. Tom Popelka is up in here. Marilyn Wilkin, it does just hit. Russell Hill and Emily Gowler. Emily, always a pleasure. Kimberly Hatfield in the building. Megan DiMartino. Russell Tabone. What up, G? Ramon Ray. Yes, sir. Rental car mindset. It's all right, you can hear me, Pastor Jeff. That's what matters most. If I turn it up too loud, you won't be able to hear me. Don't you want to hear me more? Or you want to hear the music more? Which one? Let's see. I can't even get it to turn up. There we go. There's some more music for the Clubhouse folks. There you go, Pastor Jeff. Trian Top, I'm glad you're here this morning. Sean Weatherby, Tarika Simmons, Valerie Christine, Robin J. Price is in the building. Edward Help, Shelly Jean is up in here as well. Brian Hess, what up, Brian Hess? Coming to me from Orlando. It's great to see you, man. This is crazy. We got some amazing, like we got Heather Parody up in here. We got Brian Hess up in here. Like, it's crazy. Who is that? Latest Burb. What's up, Latest Burb? Felicia Shakespeare's in the building. Stephanie Toadvine. We've got Tara Hope and Tanji Brewer. All kinds of folks, man. I love it. TM and A Day and David Hill. Stars Tina. Renee's up in here. Kate Bowman, Justin, Peter, Mindy, good morning. Mary Kim, Samira, Crystal. Okay, we're out of music, so I guess I got to quit saying good morning to people. Late, a real quick, first of all, thanks for being here with me. I greatly, 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 greatly appreciate it. Also, If you want to hang out a little bit more outside of here, it's been cool because we've been rolling out sales training, leadership training, all of that stuff for 800% Club. And we've been talking about it, man. The goal now, we've got a new goal, like 10,000 hats, right? 10,000 800% Club hats is what we want to do all across the country, maybe around the world. Now, just bringing people together, equipping them with the tools they need to succeed, and inspiring them towards greatness, right? And so if you want to be a part of that, if you're in sales or leadership of any kind, just go to glennlundy.com/800%. That's glennlundy.com/800%, and you could come join us. I would absolutely love to have you there so that we can continue to grow and continue to keep winning. Does that sound fair? Fair enough. All right, cool. Let's dive in. Turn it back. Nike, Adidas, Google, Coca-Cola, Apple, Pepsi, FedEx, Starbucks, McDonald's. Which of those brands is most important? Look at all the brands right there on your screen. FedEx, BBC, I need some participation from you. FedEx, BBC, Pepsi, Starbucks, Coca-Cola, Nike, Google, Adidas, Apple, McDonald's. Drop it in the chat. Which of those brands is most important? All right, Marilyn Wilkins says FedEx. They keep things moving, right? They keep things moving. Apple. Emily Galler says Apple. Patty says Google. Camellia says Google. Mike Overfelt says Google. Right? Melvin Rodriguez says Google. Marilyn Wilkins says FedEx. Ramon Ray says Google and Apple. Dora Maria says all of them. And Christina Howard actually got the right answer, I think. Which of those brands is most important? And the answer is the only brand that matters is yours. The only brand that matters is yours. Your personal brand, how you show up in the world, matters more than anything else. Matters more than any other big brand out there. If you show up in the world weak, timid, afraid, or less than, your reality will reflect that. If you show up in the world strong, bold, confident, if you believe in your dream with all of your heart and all of your soul, others will too. And look, there are 6 components that make up your personal brand. 6 components that make up how valuable your brand is to the marketplace. You see, when you look at brands like Nike and Coca-Cola and Starbucks and Apple, we immediately make these associations with the value that they bring to the marketplace. That's why people stand around in lines to get an iPhone, or they pay, thousands of dollars for a rare Nike release or whatever, right? Because the brand brings certain value to the marketplace. And the same is true for you. Now, there are 6 components that make up your personal brand, and we're going to have to get to them fast because my guy Jeff Bezos has something to say about this today. All right? So I'm going to run through these 6 super quick. Number 1, first component of your personal brand is your unique value proposition. UVP is what they call it. Unique value proposition, right? What sets you apart from others? Please understand, it is what sets you apart. It is your uniqueness that increases your value in the marketplace. Not conforming, not being like everyone else, not doing what others were able to do, not even competing with others or mirroring others or reflecting others. Ultimately, it is your uniqueness that increases your value in the marketplace. I recently won a competition, greatest speaker in America. The story that I told on the stage is why I won the competition. It's how people were able to identify with me because I had a unique story of growing up with a white house and a black house. I had a unique story having 8 kids. I shared my unique story that ultimately impacted my identity and was able to connect with others through my unique story. If I would have shared anything else, the outcome may have been different. Your unique upbringing, your unique experiences always wins the prize. Your personal brand starts with your unique value proposition. The second part of your personal brand is your brand story. What is your brand story, right? Like, who are you? What do you stand for and why? See, the story of your brand is going to tap into your core values. It's going to tap into what matters most to you. It's going to tap into what's most important. And when you share that piece of you, what you stand for and why, when you share the experiences that you've had in your life, it allows us to create a deeper relationship with you. It allows us to create stronger connections. My guess is, I want you to think about your best friend right now. Drop your best friend, let's say your childhood best friend's name down in the chat. My guess is your best friend from childhood is the person that you went through the most stuff with. Right? Like my best friend from childhood is James Sims. That's who I went through the most stuff with. By stuff, I mean the most stuff, because this is a PG-13 show. Right? So when we take people on that journey with us, we can deepen the relationships. When we can share with them why we feel a certain way, what we experience, and how that affects our core values, and so on and so forth, right? So your brand story is component number 2. Component number 3 is your brand identity. This is the visual representation of your brand. This is what you wear. This is how you look. All of those things affect the brand. Whether you want them to or not, all of them affect the brand. It is important that you are intentional of how you show up in the world. I know people are like, just do you, boo, dress however you want to dress. And I'm with that, right? Like, dress how you want to dress that represents your personal brand. If you're going to show up sloppy somewhere, then that better be a part of your unique value add. If it's got nothing to do with it, then I'm going to need you to tighten up. I'm going to need you to clean up. I'm going to need you to get with the program. First impressions matter. You can't get in the door. Sloppy don't get in the door at the club, ever. You feel me? So your brand identity, the visual representation, what do you wear? How do you look? All of these things affect the brand. Number 4, I'm going through these super fast, okay? Number 4 is your voice and your tone, like how you communicate with your audience matters. and must be consistent across the board and reflects your values. You guys know how I talk to you, right? I'm consistent. You know my voice, you know my tone. You know we're going to motivate, we're going to inspire, we're going to encourage. You know I'm going to tell you that I love you, right? You know that I'm going to remind you that you're a child of God, the God of the universe. You know how my voice is going to go up sometimes, go down sometimes. You know I'm going to whisper sometimes. You know that it's all going to go through this whole thing, right? Sometimes I'll be soothing. Sometimes I'll be calm. Sometimes I'm going to tell you to wake up and get out of bed, right? You know all these things. It's consistent. Your voice and tone must be consistent. And then that leans over to number 5, which is how you show up online. How you show up in person and how you show up online should be the same. Your voice, your tone, what you bring to the table, your core values. So there's a lot of people faking it online and they're completely different people in person. Crazy, right? A lot of people do that, and you know how it is, and what a disappointment when that's the case. So we want to make sure that our brand crosses over. Everything that we post, everything that we share should all be in line with our brand. Don't be sharing one thing over here and talking out your ear over here. It's not how it works. And then the 6th and final component of your brand, your personal brand, is your network. Your network matters so much. You will be found guilty by association. So it's very important that you get around champions, like right here in Breakfast with Champions and here on Rise and Grind. It's important that you are cautious, right? If you're not aligned with somebody, don't associate yourself with that person. You know what I'm saying? Just don't associate with yourself. Now, sometimes we're called to be a light in dark places. So we can go in, we can be a light, and then we get out. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of thing. So real quick recap, and then I'm going to drop Bezos in here. We're going to run just a couple minutes over. I think it's important, though. All right, 6 components that make up your personal brand. 1, your unique value prop. Get really clear on what that is, what makes you unique that brings value to the marketplace. Your brand story, right? Who you are, what you stand for, why you stand for it, right? Super important. We want to create relationships like we did with our best friends. Number 3, your brand identity, what you wear, how you look, all of that affects the brand. Number 4, your value or your voice and your tone, how you communicate with your audience, consistent across the board in real life, running into number 5, which is online. We must be consistent there as well. And then number 6 is your network. You are guilty by association. Listen, I'm sharing all of this with you because your brand ultimately determines your value in the marketplace, which ultimately determines your ability to be the solution to problems, which ultimately determines your ability to win. Does that make sense? I had a rental car mindset. I owned a jet, but I had a rental car mindset. The solution was right here. I created the problem. Many of you are doing that in your lives right now. The solution's right here. You're creating the problem. We got to break out of that. We have to understand that winning is an inside job. It's nothing external to it. It is an inside job. And that all comes from understanding who you are, what you bring to the table, being able to value that, right? Put a price tag on that and bring it to the marketplace. That's what's up. All right, I got 2 choices right now. We can go over to Clubhouse. It's already 6. So we can go over to Clubhouse and we can open up Q&A right away. Or I can save Bezos for tomorrow. Or we can bring Bezos in right now. He's got some stuff to say about this that I thought might be valuable. You guys drop it in the chat. You let me know what you want to do. While you're letting me know what you want to do, I'm going to let you know that I appreciate. Ramon says, okay, all right. Hey, well, listen, I'm going to bring, okay. I'm going to bring Bezos. Okay. I'm going to bring Bezos to the table. But before I do want to let you know, I absolutely stinking love you. All right. I do. If nobody's told you yet today, I absolutely stinking love you. And I believe in you. And there's so much that you have to bring to the table. So I apologize for anyone who told you that you were less than, or that you should sit down or shut up or be quiet or hide in the corner. I need you to raise your voice. Value yourself enough to bring your unique value prop to the marketplace, because we all need what you got. Does that sound fair? All right, sounds fair. All right, I'm gonna run this clip and then I'll see you tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. We'll do this all over again.
I was working at a financial firm in New York City with a bunch of very smart people, and I had a brilliant boss I much admired. I went to my boss and told him I was going to start a company selling books on the internet. He took me on a long walk in Central Park, listened carefully to me, and finally said, "That sounds like a really good idea, but it would be an even better idea for someone who didn't already have a good job." You can have a job, or you can have a career, or you can have a calling. And if you can somehow figure out how to have a calling, you have hit the jackpot, because that's the big deal.
I met Jeff Bezos 25 years ago, and he told me, "Dave, I want you to invest in my company." "What are you doing?" "I'm gonna start a bookstore in my garage." "Okay. And I'm gonna put it online. People buy online, and I'm gonna ship out of my garage. But if you invest in me, Dave, someday I'm gonna be the richest man in the world. I'll do over $100 billion. First of all, there is no such thing as $100 billion 25 years ago. Statistically, there's no such thing. Countries didn't have 100. Our national debt wasn't $100 billion. And this dude's telling me at 26 years old that he's gonna be the richest man in the world because he has a garage and the internet? That was his truth. No, but he did not know it, and neither did I. But the difference between him and I is I was laughing, scoffing, and jesting at him, and he was already applauding himself, going, at the right way, at the perfect time, I'm gonna make as much as I can as quickly. And I'm sitting there going, there's no way this is gonna be a big business.
Do something you're very passionate about, and don't try to chase what is kind of the hot passion of the day. Seen in that light, it really was a difficult choice, but ultimately I decided I had to give it a shot. I didn't think I'd regret trying and failing, and I suspected I would always be haunted by a decision to not try at all. After much consideration, I took the less safe path to follow my passion, and I'm proud of that choice. As a young boy, I had been a garage inventor. I'd invented an automatic gate closer out of cement-filled tires, a solar cooker that didn't work very well out of an umbrella and aluminum foil, baking pan alarms to entrap my siblings. I'd always wanted to be an inventor, and she wanted me to follow my passion. There's a military phrase that I especially love, and it says, "Slow is smooth and smooth is fast." And I have seen that in every endeavor I've ever been in. That's the kind of thing that really allows you to make progress. You know, you get certain gifts in life and you want to take advantage of those, but I guess my advice on adversity and success would be to be proud not of your gifts, but of your hard work and your choices. So, you may be, the kinds of gifts you get in life, you might be really good at math. It might be really easy for you. That's a kind of gift. But practicing that math and taking it to the next step, that could be very challenging and hard, and take a lot of sweat. That's a choice. You can't really be proud of your gifts because they were given to you. You can be grateful for them and thankful for them. But your choices you choose to work hard. You choose to do hard things. Those are choices that you can be proud of. You can choose. We all get to choose our life stories, and it's the choices that define us, not our gifts. Everybody in this room has many gifts. I have many gifts. You can never be proud of your gifts because they're gifts. They were given to you. You might be, tall, or you might be really good at math, or you might be extremely beautiful or handsome, or there are many gifts, and you can only be proud really of your choices, because those are the things that you are acting on. And one of the most important choices that each of us has, and you know this just as well as I do, is you can choose a life of ease and comfort, or you can choose a life of service and adventure. And when you're 80, which one of those things do you think you're going to be more proud of? You're going to be more proud of having chosen a life of service and adventure. There's never been a better time to be alive. I mean, it's just incredible the amount of inspiration that the world generates for me, and I think for a lot of people. It's insane, the amount of change and invention and opportunity. Your life, the life you author from scratch on your own, begins. How will you use your gifts? What choices will you make? Will inertia be your guide, or will you follow your passions? Will you follow dogma, or will you be original? Will you choose a life of ease, or a life of service and adventure? Will you wilt under criticism, or will you follow your convictions? Will you bluff it out when you're wrong, or will you apologize? Will you guard your heart against rejection, or will you act when you fall in love? Will you play it safe, or will you be a little bit swashbuckling? When it's tough, will you give up, or will you be relentless? Will you be a cynic, or will you be a builder? Will you be clever at the expense of others, or will you be kind? Every time you figure out some way of providing tools and services that empower other people to deploy their creativity, you're really onto something. You're very lucky if you have a career. A lot of people end up with a job. If you don't love your work, you're never going to be great at it. Jules Verne, Mark Twain, Galileo, Newton, all the curious from the ages would have wanted to be alive, most of all, right now. As a civilization, we will have so many gifts, just as you as individuals have so many individual gifts as you sit before me. How will you use these gifts? And will you take pride in your gifts or pride in your choices?
So tall, I could give a high five to the pilot. Yeah, family tight, I keep small circle like island. Whoa, inbox full of contracts, I signed with a stylist. Yeah, blue faces blowing up like violet. Talk about the things they're gonna say when they see me, and when they see me, they just dap me up and say good to meet me. I keep it going, flowing over this and make it look easy. Easy for me to say I do this every day of the week. I'm eager to be the one they talk about when all said and done with it. I'm the feature that they want, but then they don't when I come with it. I'm a scene, still a seat, filler, blow up the numbers, and I ain't leaving no crumbs, so you know when I'm done with it. I'm a new school vibe with an old soul, oh so great. Stay paid by the boatload, don't go chasing a wave from a rowboat. Blow smoke right through the face of the ozone. Oh no, I got the bag, I'm back to just double it. I'm about to pop the top, I've been bubbling. They want the spot, but I do not cut them in. They tryna plot my drop, they been huddling. Feeling so tall, I could give a high five to the pilot. Yeah, family tight, I keep small circle like island. Whoa, inbox full of down for. But the only thing that I'll be down for is being top 5, but like down 4. I'm down to earth like the ground floor, but I've been flying so long, I tend to ask people, what's the ground for? Man, I'm only headed up, see my flow volcanic, it's the fire I erupt. Heard the fans getting rowdy cause they haven't had enough. You know I'm running the city, you just running out of luck. Yeah, I say that with my chest, I flow hard, it's no wonder they easily impressed. I'm so far, but I'm always coming back with something fresh. I never rest, where you'll never catch this ego in a nest. I invest my time in a booth, I find a piece. I used to piece the boom in my mind. My ex knows this, let me expose this. She left cause she don't wanna be with an explosive. Man, I'm just feeling so tall I could give a high five to the pilot.